Doing that more often than not, I want you to do the exact opposite. I want you to make a decision to say, I'm going to push forward and engage in this conversation. I'm going to express maybe what it is that's bothering me about what my spouse is saying, rather than keeping it in and stuffing it. Because I'm going to tell you, when you stuff and stuff and stuff, it comes out like a volcano. A big eruption, and your spouse will be confused because you're like, where did all of this come from? I just said, one thing, and now everything comes out. And so it's important for you to not shut your spouse out by shutting down. The next thing, I think Monica said, the cell phones is a problem in communication. And so not being present mentally, that's a big one, like not really paying attention to what your spouse is saying. And so I have to be honest, like sometimes, like Lamry was talking about the Mondays and Tuesdays, I go into session at 8:10 on those days, and then I go and pick up my kids at 2:50, and then I come home, get them settled, get their snacks. Then Lamry gets home at I'm praying always at 3:55, but it's usually around 4. And then I'm like doing a swap off, and I have a session at 4:30, and then I'm usually getting out about 8:30 a session. And so on those days, when I come home, and Lamry wants to talk, I'm like, I'll be looking at my phone and all that. So this is something that I struggle with sometimes too, is like, he's talking and I want to be on my phone or whatever. And one of the things that we'll talk about is just, I'll tell him, honey, can we talk about this later? I really can't even process what you're saying right now. But we have to be present. And if you know for some reason that whatever your spouse is talking about, you really can't hear it or receive it, it's okay to say, honey, what you're saying is really important to me. However, I can't really hear it right now. Can we talk about it a little bit later? And then when you say later, this is what gets people mad in my session, is when their spouse says, we'll talk about it later, and they never bring it up again. Right. So if you're going to say, let's talk about it later, it's important to me, make sure you say, let's talk about it in an hour, or can we talk about it tomorrow at, right after dinner, but you're given a definite time. I think that's important too. And the next one is disregarding the importance of the subject matter that your spouse is saying to you. You're saying, like, that's not important. Why is that on your mind? Why are you talking about this? Why are you making a big deal? That's a big shutdown in communication. You have to mirror sort of what the level of enthusiasm or sadness or importance that your spouse is sharing with you. Mirror it back to them. So if someone is talking about like how she, okay, this is really minimal, but broke her nail today and she's been growing it for so long, and the husband's like, whatever, man, why are you talking about your nail? Do you know what I'm going through? And so he needs to say something like, you know what, honey, I know you've been working hard on your nails growing. And I'm sorry your nail broke. I know that must be real frustrating to you. That's a minimal